Super Bowl 59 film study. Here we go. Let's dive into the Eagles' offense, more specifically their offensive line, and what they were able to accomplish against the Commanders, and sort of set up what we could be seeing in what should be a really evenly matched, really good Super Bowl rematch between the Eagles and the Chiefs. Of course, this was the game 2 years ago in Glendale. Very tight game. Jalen Hurts made the first half mistake. The Eagles played well in the first half of that game, but then the Chiefs did what the Chiefs do in the second half, which was dominate on the offensive side. Well, how can Philly avoid falling into those same traps again this year? Well, they have something on this year's team that they didn't have 2 years ago, and his name is Saquon Barkley. The offensive line was just as good, maybe if not better in that game, but it was guys like Kenneth Gainwell and Miles Sanders and Jalen Hurts, the leading rusher in that game for Philly, carrying the load. Now they have Saquon Barkley, who had 2,005 rushing yards in the regular season. He's had a $119 in the wild card against the Packers, 205, 2 tuds in the divisional round against the Rams, 118, 3 touchdowns in the NFC title game against the Commanders. I'm about to show you one of them right here. The Eagles' offensive line is the strength of this team. Their skill positions are elite as well, but they have a very deep, athletic, and frankly, nasty offensive line. Mailata, Dickerson, Juergens, Becton, and Johnson. Now, in this game, Dickerson had to play center because Juergens was hurt. Really impressive job by Landon Dickerson, who did play center at Alabama in college, sliding from left guard to center, absorbing all of that responsibility that comes with playing the center position. Dickerson also was banged up in this game, and you saw on the sidelines him and Juergens going back and forth. Hey, can you play? Can you go? We did see Juergens play in the second half of this game as well. So you hope the 2 weeks off gets the Eagles' offensive line healthy, because I think that is a key for Kellen Moore and controlling the tempo in this game. First down, second down, first down. Stay on schedule. That is how you keep the Chiefs' offense on the sidelines and Patrick Mahomes and the Wizard away from the action, and you can control the tempo. All right, so let's get into film mode here. Make sure our telestrator's working. It is. All right, here you go. First play of the game for the Eagles, P and 10. What the heck is P and 10? I'm stealing this from Brent Venables. I actually heard it from Brooks Austin. Shout out Film Guy Network. They are fantastic. P and 10 is a phrase that Brent Venables created for the first play of the drive. If you have a successful play on 1st and 10, your first play of the drive, P and 10, your odds of scoring on that drive go up dramatically. You could also just avoid all that and just score on the first play, which is what the Eagles do here. They're going to run a fake fly sweep. Devontae Smith is going to fake across, and then they are going to run pin and pull. What is pin and pull? A.J. Brown is going to pin and seal this defensive end. Tight end, pull, left tackle, pull. This play has become very popular in college. Georgia loves running this play. They ran it on the first play of the Sugar Bowl against Notre Dame, and you could see Saquon Barkley do his thing. Again, the key here is very simple. One, you have man coverage coming across because the corner is going to run with them. So both of these linebackers read the play well. Luvu and Bobby Wagner go right up into the hole. A.J. Brown does a okay job blocking the end here, but the end is going to spin off, and what that does is he kind of clogs up the middle, and he prevents Bobby Wagner from getting into the hole. Again, I think Washington actually defended this pretty well. I really do, and I think it probably should have been a 10 or a 15-yard gain. I think Wagner should have maybe made that play right here. Maybe, again, Saquon beats him to the edge. But once Bobby Wagner tripped over himself and gave Saquon that lane, well, then you know this was going to be an explosive. Here's the difference. This is somehow a touchdown. This is what separates Saquon Barkley from, let's say, Kenneth Gainwell or Miles Sanders last year in the Super Bowl. Or 2 years ago when these teams played each other. Because Saquon Barkley might be one of, I don't know, a handful, count on one hand, backs in the league that can turn this into this. And it just speaks to his talent. He's unbelievable. I watched him do this a million times at Penn State. And I honestly think he's the key in this game if you can figure out a way to get him plays like this. But again, this is a very simple scheme. Obviously, the Eagles love this play. It's the first play of their script. They probably have run this play 1,000 times throughout the course of the last few weeks. And I really like what Mailata does here. In space against the corner. Again, this is 6'8", 365 here, Jordan Mailata, going up against the corner, who is much more physically athletic and shifty, and who you think might be able to get around him in some way, but Mailata just completely boxes him out of the play. Whirling dervish. Saquon off to the races. The Eagles' offensive line, how they can pull, create lanes, and make it really hard for the defense to figure out what the heck is going on. All right, the next drive for Philly. Turn my page here. Remember, I'm doing all my notes handwritten. Next drive for Philly. This is 2nd down and 7 in the red zone. We're going to see a bootleg off of a guard tackle counter. So what Philly's doing here is they are setting up the run. A.J. Brown at the top of the screen has off coverage, corner, inside leverage, trying to prevent that slant route over the middle. Devontae Smith is going to occupy that safety, and he is going to just give a ton of space here for A.J. Brown to operate. Guard, tackle, pull. This looks like a running play. Guard, tackle, or pulling. This looks like a running play to Kenneth Gainwell. All the linebackers are going to slant towards the run, and you're just going to see A.J. Brown operate in space. Ball's out. There's the yak. A.J. Brown dominated Sanderstil in this game. That was Sanderstil, the rookie corner out of Michigan, guarding him there. A.J. Brown had 3 for 31 with a touchdown against Sanderstil in this game. 15 yards of yak. This is where the Eagles are so dangerous. They can make you think like they're going to run it, suck up all those defenders in the box, and then throw the ball out to A.J. Brown, inner excellence, who's going to make some outer excellence plays, and just win one-on-one. I mean, it's really hard to beat A.J. Brown one-on-one. He is a freak. So you'll see this much better from the tight. I love watching these plays develop from the tight. This looks like a run. This is how the Eagles love running the counter play. Both the linebackers, Luvu and Wagner, are slanting, and it's just easy pickings. I mean, there's just nobody there. Jalen Hurts has like 10 yards of space, like 7 yards of space between him and the nearest defender. And A.J. Brown, when he catches it, there's still 2.5 yards of separation between him and the corner for him to make a move. And he does make a nice move. Gets an extra few yards, sets up 1st and goal. The Eagles would score shortly after that. All right, third play. Eagles are up 2. This is late in the second quarter, so we're still kind of on script here. Philly is still actively trying to run their stuff and create separation because the Commanders just scored and almost tied the game on a missed 2-point conversion. Another 2nd down. This time we're going to run it off the counter. Guard, tackle, pull. The difference here is, and I should have mentioned this to you before we moved on. The Eagles passed it out of 12 personnel, 2 tight ends. They threw it with tight ends. More tight ends in formation, they threw it. Now, they're in 11 personnel. Only 1 tight end at the top, 3 wide receivers. Now, the reason that this play, I think, has a little bit more success is the personnel. And also what Devontae Smith is able to do by motioning across. So right now, the Eagles have a heavy box to run into. You don't want to run into heavy boxes. There's 8 guys in the box right now. That's Jeremy Chin, the safety, the 8th guy. What Devontae Smith's motion is able to accomplish here, Chin flies out of the box. Well, now you've got a nice, light, delicious 7-man box to run into. Those are the kind of boxes we want to run into. Same concept as before. Guard, tackle, pull. Look at Jordan Mailata just hunt Bobby Wagner. Make a nice play. Again, you can see this develop much better from the tight angle. Boom. Oop. Excuse me. Boom. Boom. This play goes for more than 10 yards if Devontae Smith finishes his block on Mike Sanderstill. But credit Sanderstill, made a nice play and able to only create a 10-yard gain for Saquon. Only a 10-yard gain on 2nd and 8. First down, second down, first down. That is how you win a game like this. That is how you keep Mahomes, instead of having 8 possessions in the game, they only have 7. And again, I might be off with how many possessions they actually will have. Probably will be more than that. But you get my point. Take away a possession from Mahomes by death marching it for 12, 15 plays, 80-yard drive in 7 minutes. This is how you do it. You run the ball for 10 yards on 2nd and 8. Look at Mailata. Mailata is just an animal. This is 6'8", 365 pounds. Watch the athleticism and how he's literally running sideways right now. I mean, he runs about 15 or 20 yards in this little window here, in this little box that he's in. And just watch how fast he gets up on the linebacker and just completely blows Bobby Wagner out of the play. Incredible stuff. So, who do I think is going to win this game? I mean, I picked Eagles over Chiefs in August. I really did. Go back and watch the BetUS NFL podcast. I'm going to post a clip of it at some point. I guess I've got to continue to believe that Philly has the deeper roster. They have the revenge narrative. They definitely don't have the wizard, Andy Reid. They definitely don't have the magician, Patrick Mahomes. But maybe this is finally the year where the grit and the athleticism, the muscle that the Eagles have with the depth of their roster, credit Howie Roseman and what he's built, maybe they finally make that play. Maybe Saquon's the difference. If you go back to that Super Bowl 2 years ago, the coordinators are different, right? It's not Steichen and Gannon. It's Fangio and Moore. But I think those schemes are better. And I especially think Vic Fangio. We didn't even talk about the Eagles' defense in this film study. We'll get to that later. But Kellen Moore, who, again, probably is going to be a head coach with the Saints, based on what I'm hearing. This is probably going to be his last game coaching for the Eagles. And Saquon Barkley. Those are the differences. That's what Philly was a field goal away, a holding call away from perhaps winning that game against the Chiefs 2 years ago in Glendale. Maybe having Saquon Barkley, 2,005 rushing yards in the regular season. Like an absurd postseason. 119, 205, 118. Maybe Saquon Barkley is the difference that allows the Eagles to finally get across the finish line. I definitely think the offensive line is going to be key. I think how Kellen Moore utilizes the offensive line is going to be key. And sure, why not? I'll say the Eagles beat the Chiefs. That was my prediction back in August. And it's that athletic offensive line that does just enough to keep Mahomes on the sidelines. The Mahomes magic, no bueno. And the Eagles win Super Bowl 59.